Hi book besties and welcome to this new video. It's been a long time since I've done a sit down talking video, but today is the day because I am going to do a wrap up of all the books that I've read so far in the year. It's not a lot honestly because it's currently March 13th and I have read a total of 12 books. Yeah. Thinking about it really makes me sad because I knew how much books I've read last year. But I entered the year with the biggest reading slump and honestly I feel like it didn't even go away yet. So that's great. But last year I wanted to finish my reading goal so badly that I ended up reading 20 books in like a month and a half, which is honestly a lot for me. So I entered the year and wanted to focus on other things and like not read for a while. That was not the best decision because it made the reading slump even bigger. So now we're here, 12 books in the new year, and yeah. But we're going to do a wrap up. The thing is, some books are from when I read them in January. I don't remember a single thing about them. So if you see me struggling, that's why. I'm really sorry in advance, but I wanted to make this video either way. So yeah, I'd say let's just start. So this is a stack of all of the books that I've read so far this year. It may seem like a lot, but it isn't. It really isn't. So I'm going to have to take a few moments sometimes to read the backs of the books to remember what they were about. But the first book that I've read this year was You with the View by Jessica Joyce, because I have seen so much things about this book and The X-Files that I just bought them. And they were sitting on my TBR for a while. And I just decided like what better time to start them than reading them as the first books of the year. So this book is about Noelle Shepard, and she is grieving the loss of her beloved grandmother when she discovers decades-old photos and letters that hint to a forbidden love in her grandmother's past. She wants to know the full story, so she posts the pictures on TikTok, and then someone comments like, hey, that's my grandfather. What? So, through her video, she manages to track down her grandmother's secret love, Paul, who offers to take her on the honeymoon road trip he and Gram planned but never got to go on. Noelle jumps at the chance to make this one last connection with her grandmother. There's just one problem. Paul's grandson is Noelle's frustratingly handsome high school rival Theo, and Theo has to come too. It's only 2 weeks, surely Noelle can survive that long, but with one car between them and often only one bed, it doesn't take long for things to heat up. I gave this book 4 stars because I don't know what I expected. I don't know my thoughts when I was reading them because it's been a while actually. But I feel like it was a fun romance that also covers like the topics of grief and wanting to feel like a last connection to someone who passed away. And it's just a nice romance. And I actually loved like the connection between the characters. And there's like this game that Noelle always used to play with her grandmother where they like tell each other a secret that they have. And now on this road trip she tells Theo about the little game and they end up playing together, and like during the entire book they have like multiple moments of playing that game and revealing like a little secret that they have to the other one, which I feel like is always also like a pretty nice and cute add to the book. So 4 stars. Also, I love this cover. This is probably the most beautiful cover ever. Next, we have The X-Files. Also by Jessica Joyce. Also gave this one 4 stars. I did like it better than I did You with a View. But the thing is, 2 exes, 1 wedding, what could go wrong? Georgia Woodward and Eli Mora broke up 5 years ago, so they're definitely over each other, right? When they're thrown together at their best friend's wedding, sparks fly, quite literally when the venue burns down a week before the big day. Now it's up to Georgia and Eli to get everything back on track. As they rush to put on the perfect wedding, all feelings start to resurface, and now thanks to the fire, there's only one bed. Jumping back in is terrifying, but this time will love be worth the risk? So what I remember about the book is Georgia and Eli have this mutual friend, and they like grew up together, and that mutual friend is getting married, but everything is going wrong. The venue burns down, and other stuff happen. So Georgia is typically the person who like wants to fix everything and suggests that she can fix this. So Eli is there because he's there. Obviously, he was invited to the wedding and like the week before the wedding. And he's like telling Georgia, can you also give me a few things that I can do because I need to make up for the bachelor party that I missed? And they like agree, and they go to the place, like the new venue where they are going to keep the wedding, together, where they grow closer again, and where, you know, old feelings resurface. I don't know if that's a good way to say it. I remember that this book also had like a lot of deeper subjects, like the male main character Eli was struggling a lot when he and Georgia broke up, and probably felt really lonely, I think it was. So he is following therapy, but he has to get on this call with his therapist, but Georgia thinks that he is on the phone with his work or something, so that's why they broke up, because work always came like first. And I feel like if I wasn't in a reading slump, this book would have been a 5-star read. So I might do like a reread once sometime. So yeah, this one 4 stars, and the next is The Off Limits Rule by Sarah Adams, because Lucy Marshall has hit rock bottom after failing to succeed as a single mom in Atlanta. She's back home and moving in with her older brother Drew. Reconnecting with her support system is the right thing to do, but Lucy can't help but feel like a failure. Her 4-year-old son deserves the world, and all she can give him is a spare bedroom. But Drew is the sweetest uncle, and some quality time might be exactly what they both need to start fresh. That is, until she meets Cooper, her brother's incredibly hot best friend. When Drew senses something between the two of them, he puts his foot down on any shenanigans. According to him, Cooper is everything Lucy should stay away from. Flirtatious, adventurous, and worst of all, non-committal. But Lucy has been getting the opposite impression so far. Cooper is a genuinely great guy, and she's starting to catch real feelings. Her whole life, Lucy has tried to do everything right, and look where that's gotten her. So what if she tries something wrong? I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about this book. People not enjoying it, or people like loving it. And I think this was like one of the first books that Sarah Adams published in her writing career. And I gave it a 3 stars, which is a fine. I enjoyed the book. I have read it in like a reading vlog. I don't know which one though. Yeah, I read it in like my reading vlog where I try to get out of my reading slump. So you can see my thoughts in the moment I finished the book right there. But it was a fine book. It's the typical like brother's best friend romance drama going on. But I do remember Drew is like, "Now you're not going to date my sister because you're non-committal. I have known you for several years and I have never ever seen you in a relationship, but that is because Cooper actually went through a bad breakup. And he never told Drew about that, so Drew didn't know any better than thinking he was non-committal, but he actually was committal because then he met Lucy and her son Levi, and he wants to spend the rest of his life with them, which is cute. So 3 stars. It's a quick romance. I think I read it in like a day. Then I have another book that I've read in another video, which it was the Reading for 12 Hours Straight book. Such Charming Liars. And I think I also gave it 3 stars because I didn't really vibe with it the way I vibed with some of the other books from Karen McManus, and I have read them all. For all of Kat's life, it's just been her and her mother, except for when her mom was married for just 48 hours to a man with a child of his own, a son named Liam. The two families haven't spoken for the past 12 years. Now Kat's mom is a jewel thief trying to go straight, and she has one last job swiping a costly necklace at a billionaire's 80th birthday party weekend, and this time Kat finds a way to make her mother bring her along. There are other surprise guests. Liam and his father, now a serial scammer who has his own sights set on the billionaire's family. To get what they want, they'll all have to pretend not to know one another. When someone at the compound is shot dead, Kat and Liam realize they might be in the killer's crosshairs next. In this deadly game of lies, the only way to survive is to find the truth first. It sounds really good, and the story itself is good. It's the typical Karen McManus book. It has a plot twist that you don't actually really think of. But I do remember that I said like at the last 20 pages you like don't know something that you should have known by now. And then the last 2 pages another plot twist happens and you have like this ending, you know. you know. But yeah, I liked it. It just wasn't my favorite by her, and that's fine. It was still a good book that I've read in only 4 hours, which says a lot. And then I have my baby, Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, book 3 in the One in Rome series. I gave this the easiest 5 stars ever. I actually forgot about a book, but I'm going to do that at the ending. So this probably is one of the easiest 5 stars ever. The way I vibed with this book. Okay, hi. Sorry if the angle is a little bit different. I had to charge my camera, of course. But what I was saying is Beg, Borrow, or Steal. Again, you can see my entire thoughts at the moment I finished it in the video where I read for 12 hours. But this book was everything. The moment that I read When in Rome, which is the first book in the series, and met Emily, I was so excited for her book because she is the oldest daughter, so everything like falls onto her shoulders and there's an immense pressure on her, and she is secretly writing a book which is amazing. Honestly, go Emily. So she is secretly writing a book. Nobody knows about it. She has this day job as a teacher, and then suddenly someone moves back in the small town, Rome, Kentucky. Also known as Jack Bennett, the person who is her nemesis, her new neighbor, her co-worker, and what else? He's also secretly a best-selling writer. They have this nemesis bond and stuff, where she hates him. I'm so obsessed. Look, all these annotation tabs. Perfect. But then one night she is tired of all these self-doubts, so she sends her manuscript, like an email with her manuscript to someone that she, like a publisher or something, I don't know, or like an editor, I don't know exactly what it was, but she sends it to the wrong email and she accidentally sends it to her boss, which is also Jack's boss. So she goes to knocking on his door, and they go on this hunt together to like retrieve the email from their boss's computer. They get closer, and which reveals that to Jack, that she is writing a book, and he starts to help her in the entire writing process because he knows how it's going, but he doesn't want to tell her that he is a writer. So you know how that goes. But I love it so much. And to think you consider yourself hard to love. Loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done. I'm sorry, what? What? So, infinity number of stars. Oh, this book. Next, I have done a series of rereads. Because last year in April I've read the Gold Rush Ranch series, like with the old covers and stuff. And I bought the new covers because I'm so obsessed with that series and I wanted them because they're pretty, they're gorgeous, they're everything. So I wanted them and I bought them and I wanted to annotate them once again. So I did a reread of them and annotated them. I'm not going to go over them pretty deeply, except for the fact that you have to read the series. The first book is Off to the Races. It's about Billy and Vaughn, a workplace romance, 4 stars. She has to train this horse that nobody wants to come nearby. They grow closer, you know, boss employee romance. 4 stars. I loved it. I didn't expect for me to like vibe with it as much as I did during a reread, because the first time that I read the book, like in April, I was thinking this is a great book. So I wasn't really excited for the rereads because I have 2 favorites in the series. And I was like, okay, it's fine, you know. But then I started this reread and I was like, oh my gosh. Hold up. Did I miss something here? Because it's good. It's amazing. And it has literally everything you need. And I'm going to start posting annotation dumps of all of these books. All of these on my Bookstagram account starting tonight. So yeah, if you want to see little snippets from the quotes that I annotated, this is my Instagram, you can follow. Anyways, so 4 stars for this one. Then we have a photo finish. It's book 2. It's about Violet and Cole. Cole is the brother of Vaughn, from the male main character from book 1, and Violet is the Eaton sister from the Chestnut Springs brothers, you know? So this is her story. And, you know, they have this past together where when she moved to like the ranch where the story is set, like the series is set pretty much. She wanted to do something out of her comfort zone, and she went on this forum. I don't know how to pronounce it. And she had a chat with Kate. Not Kate. That's her brother! So she had a chat with Cole for over a year, and then they parted ways because something happened to Cole that nobody knows. You know, it is perfect. It's so good. And then they end up rooming up together because how do you say that? She rides racehorses? Like she does. I have full on blackout at the moment. She races with racehorses, and she has been sabotaged by someone who I'm not going to name in a race, and she ends up injured. So she is living on an apartment above the barn, so she has to go on this ladder, but she's not able to because she's injured. So Billy, her best friend and boss, says, why don't you like room with Cole? And she's like, no way that's gonna happen. But Cole is like, yeah, you're going to move in with me. So, you know, the usual. It's amazing. It's 5 stars. And every time I see someone rank all of the Elsie Silver books or men, I always see Cole in like the bottom. And it's so unreal to me because he's definitely at one of the top spots for me. So Cole, 5 stars. Violet, photo finish, perfect, 5 stars. Then we have book 3, which is also a workplace romance, town villain, misunderstood person, secret romance, workplace romance, enemies to lovers, which is not really an enemies to lovers, but you know, about Stefan and Myra. Myra is the vet at Stefan's ranch and also the Gold Rush Ranch, you know, from the other books. And there's this foal that has to have like another horse with him, and the only place where there's a horse that is available or something, I'm not really sure how I can explain this, is at Stefan's ranch. So Myra is the one to call Stefan up, and he's like, okay, fine. The foal can stay at my ranch with my horse, but you have to go on 3 dates with me. So she's like, fine, but nobody can notice because he has been asking her out for a long time. But she always thought that it was a joke and that it was just like a pawn in his game to get to her friends. And she's like, okay, fine, but nobody can know about this because my friends hate you and I'm not in the vibe to fight with my friends over this, you know? And so they go on this date. And then she realizes that everyone was wrong about the type of person that he is and how he is and stuff. And they get closer, they have these amazing moments together. I love this book so much. If you look at me and my best friend's chat, it's all about me yapping about them. Easiest, again, one of the easiest 5 stars ever. So pretty. Then I have the last book in the series, A False Start, which is a brother's best friend age gap romance. Also with a lot of struggle, like mental health issues. So they end up, Stefan Griffin is Stefan's best friend, and Nadia is Stefan's sister, little sister, that moves into his house a few years ago. But at the beginning of the book, Griffin and Nadia share a kiss at a bar. And she asks for another, and he's like, no. One is, how does he say it? Let me look it up. One is an accident, twice is a mistake. That's mean, but whatever. And then she's like hung up over him, and he keeps thinking about her. And then it flashes forward to 2 years later, where they are constantly thrown into each other's lives because, you know, Stefan is her brother, his best friend. And she has this to-do list that she wants to achieve in her life because she didn't have the best life growing up. And on that list is learning to do horseback riding. I don't know if that's how you say it in English. But because Billy from book 1 is unavailable to do the lessons at the moment, Griffin is like, it's fine, I can do it. But yeah, she's like pulling him closer and he keeps stepping away. But it's still a pretty nice book, and again, I love it so much. There's not a single bad book in that entire series, or like in Elsie Silver lands. Not a single one. 4 stars, love it so much. Next, I have another Elsie Silver book that just came out, and it's Wild Side by Elsie Silver. I don't know why this one is shiny. I was like putting it on my bookshelf and I was like, wait, this is shiny and the other 2 aren't. But it's fine, I'm just going to ignore it. And it's about Reese, who is a professional wrestler, and she is a chef, bartender. She is a chef, right? Yeah. And the story starts with her sister passing away. So she ends up taking care of Milo, her sister's son. But her sister put in her will that Reese is going to be the guardian because Reese was staying next to Tabitha, her sister. I don't know her name anymore. But they were like neighbors and they spent a lot of time together as friends. So they have like this battle, but for guardianship of Milo, because obviously Tabitha wants to keep him nearby. But Reese is like, she put me in the will as the guardian, so, you know, I can't do a lot of things. But he also sees how well Tabitha and her parents are with Milo, which is different than what Tabitha's sister told him. It's this whole thing. But obviously they get closer and end up in a fake marriage to make it easier for him to come back home after wrestler games matches, I don't know, with the borders and stuff, because if his wife is on the other side of the border, it's easier to cross. So they end up in a fake marriage, which, you know how that goes. It's amazing, and for the first time in a really long time, I felt like I didn't know how the book was going to end. Obviously, I knew it was going to be a happy ending because practically every romance book has a happy ending. But I was like, I don't know if this is going to end the way it normally does, which was a pretty nice surprise. So again, 5 stars. And then the next book I read yesterday, and it's The Temporary Roomie by Sarah Adams, and it's the other book in the What Happened in Nashville, or It Happened in Nashville series, together with the Off Limits Rule. And it's about Drew, which is Lucy's brother, you know? And Cooper's best friend. And the female main character is Jessie, who is the co-worker and best friend of Lucy. And Drew and Lucy end up having to live together too. Because they kind of hate each other and are pulling prank wars on each other and stuff because things happened. And then there's something wrong with like the water pipes in her house. So Lucy's like, you can stay with us, but she's doing everything in her power to like ruin the staying of Jessie at her house. Like nothing bad, but you know, just playful things that would make her move in with her brother Drew. And Drew needs a fake girlfriend to an event from his work because all of his co-workers kept asking him out, that he panicked and said, I have a girlfriend. So Lucy is in the middle of them practically and saying like, you need a fake date and you need a house, so it's a 1+1. But this book is basically filled with prank wars and pulling each other away, and the male main character Drew pulling her closer again, and then she pulling away again, and him pulling her closer again. It's a fun book. It's a fine book. It's not the favorite of Sarah Adams, but it's still a 3-star for me. It's fine. So yeah. Also, she's pregnant. Forgot to mention that. Completely forgot to mention that. But she's pregnant. Third trimester of an unexpected pregnancy. She has been left behind by her boyfriend, the father of her child. Her father left when she was born. Her mother died, so she was raised by her grandparents, but then her grandmother also passed away when she was young. So it's her and her grandfather against the world. You know, that type of thing. So you would understand why she is being this distant towards Drew and not really into committing a relationship, But then, yeah, obviously things change. And yeah, 3 stars. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. It's completely free. It would help my channel so much. I'm sorry for the chaotic video that this video was, because I don't know what happened. But yeah, anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you have read any of these books, and let me know your opinion about them. And I'll see you guys next week for a new video. Bye! Okay, hi. I'm currently editing the video, but I actually forgot to add a whole book. I don't know how that happened, but I actually also read the Burn For You arc by Bridie Charles, which came out a month ago now, 17th February. I can't pronounce that word, sorry. But that was also a 5-star read for me. I'm going to grab my review that I posted on Goodreads, but I wanted to include it in the video here because it is a book that I've read this year. And what is this? Oh, I hate it. Also, it's one of the best romance summer books that I've read in a long time. It's the second book in the Ruby Cove series, but Burn For You is a hate to love romance. It's set in Italy, again, Ruby Cove, the small town where the entire series is set. A forced proximity because they do end up living together for a while because her house, there was something going on with her house. I'm not going to say what because that's a spoiler. And there's an age gap. She has this entire mug collection and he's like, why do you need so many mugs again? Like, tell me why. And she's like, well, it depends on the mood I'm in. Like, if I'm happy, I'm going to drink out of that mug. If I'm sad and need comfort, I'm going to go with my other mug. You know, that type of thing. And then suddenly, Mr. comes home with a mug. that he got for her. And I don't know, it's filled with so many cute moments. They renovate the restaurant together that he got from his grandmother. He, like, when she died, right? Yeah, I think. And he's like not really happy with what's going on at his restaurant, so she offers to help him renovate, and they renovate this restaurant together, and they get closer, and you know how this all goes. I'm going to read my review now. May and Raphael are two of the most beautiful characters, both with more backstory that not a lot of people, maybe even no one, knows about them. This hate to love is giving everything in this book, and it's so realistically written. The tension and banter is everything. So in love with how Bridie wrote their story, and I'm even more in love with Tom Seeds. Bridie is probably the most talented indie author that I have ever seen, and I'm so looking forward to the rest of her work. Burn is out now, so if you see this is your sign, because it also has one of the most prettiest covers I've ever seen. Burn for You Too. I have talked about these books so much, and I'm not going to stop soon. But anyways, yeah, bye.